All right, let's take you back to our top story today. Of course, you know, labour federations are marching across the country calling for a national shutdown. Let's take you back to Silindelo Masikane, who is covering the Pretoria leg of the shutdown. Slee, I see you are walking side by side with the newly elected Secretary General of the ANC in Gauteng. What is he telling you about today's march?
Well, that's what we're about to find out. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. I see the numbers are quite satisfying, I think, for the Labour Federation. We can walk while we do this interview. As the ANC, how do you feel about the working class essentially coming together to say that, look, the ANC-led government needs to do better?
In fact, as the ANC in Gauteng, that's our view. We're from a conference that has spoken very sharply on the issues of the working class, the issue of SOEs. We don't want the privatization of SOEs. We want a stable ESCOM, consequence management to those who are doing wrong. You can't be leading such a big institution and be complaining perpetually. But you must also take responsibility of your own actions. So the cost of living is too high, not only for people who are members of the ANC, but for the whole society. And there are reasons why we are finding ourselves where we are. One, we must agree that the continuous exploitation of workers does not only come from government. Right? Labour is a bigger employer than even government. So when people are saying we're marching to the ANC, forgetting about the labour, in fact, that's what neoliberal forces would do, and counter-revolutionary forces always divert such issues and act as if government is the employer and the sole employer for our people, which is not true. The biggest employer for our people is actually these private companies who continuously to employ illegal foreigners in our country, who continue to exploit our working class. So we're marching here not only for government, but we're also saying to our leaders, these issues that we're raising, including the issue of wage, the living wage, must be looked into. So we will be found amongst our people every day, every corner, every street. And we know it's a painful thing when people see the ANC on the ground. But because it's a leader of society, that's why it will live on a daily basis.
What about those who say the ANC can barely pay its staff, the ANC is not paying provident funds and pension funds? Why should South Africans continue to put their trust in your organization that is not even able to pay its employees?
There are a number of things that would have raised sharply when the new funding bill came, because we knew it was going to hurt the ANC. Who's going to fund a party and be chased by all sorts of things and be followed by all sorts of things? The funding bill must be reviewed, because we could be able to fund political parties, and the ANC did not have this problem before. And we're raising it to our leadership, look into this matter, because it's the organization that is funding. More difficult to get funding from people. Remember, we're an NGO. We're not a private company. We're not having this big company and so on. So we depend on donors like any other organization. So our donors, if they feel threatened, they will not fund the organization like any other organization. In fact, I'm sure we're the only open organization in terms of who is funding us. Others are not even disclosing who's funding their political parties.
But we can agree that the ANC needs to do better.
Of course. The ANC, like any other organization, like any other country, like any other household, the ANC has got new leadership in provinces. That is showing you the interest of the people. The ANC national in December, we believe it will do the same. So the ANC must not only change, but it must improve. And it must serve the interest of the people. And we believe it will, without fear of contradiction. Thank you very much.
Newly elected leadership of the provincial ANC, as you've heard, Masiko, agreeing with workers that as a party, as a political party that's leading government, they need to do better by the workers.
Right, Silindelo Masikane live for us in Pretoria. I wonder how many times the workers have heard the ANC say to them that they need to do better. And here we are. Some more bad news.